Hey, hi everybody, it's great to be back here again on Itamar. It's Friday and the winds are gusting here on Itamar as usual. It's very rare we have a quiet Friday without wind, but we've been learned to enjoy the wind together. I said that it brings us a lot of, we say in Hebrew, ruach, spirit. But this week's portion we are completing the book of Leviticus. It's been a long winter. Well, really not such a long winter here in Israel. Unfortunately, we don't have enough rain, but going through, Baruch Hashem, going through the portions of the week, you're flowing through the time, basically. It's time travel. And now we are approaching the holiday of Shavuot, the greatest holiday of bringing Torah down to earth. And obviously there must be a connection as we're only a couple of weeks away from the holiday, the special holiday. In reality, of an expression, every year before New Year begins, we say, Tichle, it's a Tichle Shana B'Klalotea, let a year end with its curses, V'tahel Shana U'Virchotea, let the year begin with its blessings, B'Virchotea, with its blessings. So basically we're saying, let the year end, get rid of all the bad things, and let a new year begin. And this we say, of course, during before our New Year, we say it, everyone knows to say it. When is our New Year? The Jewish New Year, in the month of Tishrei, which is still a few months away, obviously. But most people don't know that we also have a New Year coming up very soon. And the holiday of Shavuot, the holiday of receiving Torah, is also a New Year. And therefore, this week's portion, Bichukotai, it is one of the portions that we read the curses before we begin the New Year. We want to get rid of these curses, get them out of the way. And it's part of the redemption process. We're knowing that when the curses are over and they disappear, it's a new beginning for us. And here, if you read this week's portion, you will see there are different curses mentioned. Later on, we get to Parashat Kitavo, which is in the book of Dvarim, before our New Year, a couple of weeks before. It's always not the week before, it's 2 weeks before. And the answer is why? It's because you don't want to have curses too close to the New Year, so you bring it a week in advance. So here we could say the same thing. The holiday of Shavuot is a new year. And why is it a new year for me? And for that, I'm here to explain it to you before Shabbat begins. It says in the Mishnah is the oral law. If you look in the tractate of Rosh Hashanah, on page number 16. It says like this. Be'arba'a perakim ha'olam nidon. The world is judged on 4 times. Be'pesach ala tvua. Passover is also a new year, and God judges us for our grain, which means on the Passover holiday, our grains will be blessed, or God forbid cursed. Depend upon our, of course, actions. Batzeret al Peirot Eilat, the holiday of Shavuot, is another judgment time, and there we are judged on the fruit of the trees. And then it goes on to say, on New Year, like the Rosh Hashanah, which is Tishrei, we are judged. Every person is judged in the universe before God. And then it says on Sukkot, we are judged over water. So there are different 4 periods of the year that they're really New Year's in reality. Mishnah does talk about Rosh Hashanah, different kind of New Year's, but here we're talking about the New Year regarding the judgment, new judgment periods. So therefore, as I mentioned before, we want the curses to end before the holiday of Shavuot and let God judge us favorably for the fruit of the trees. And of course, what is the blessing on the fruit of the trees? Even Israel is a country, like any other country, that needs produce and agriculture. But Israel is unique in all other countries in that the land is so connected to spirituality that if we are not following the path of Hashem, then we're going to feel it immediately in our produce and the blessing the land gives us. It's like a direct correlation between one another. Other lands, even Egypt, which is a dry desert land, it has the Nile River, which constantly is feeding them water and able to produce, don't have to pray for water and rain come down. Israel is very unique in that way, that we are constantly so needy of direct intervention of God to give us the blessing of water during the proper months so we have fruit on the trees, etc. That's because God's land is Israel, and things work like that in the land of Israel. But there is something beautiful that's brought down by the Schlocko. The Schlocko is, again, one of the great giants of esoteric teachings of Torah. And he writes, so he brings down in his book, in his, it's called Ner Mitzvah, the light, the Ner, the candle of the Mitzvah. Brought down when he talks about the holiday of Shavuot. And I'd like to read something he brings down. And he says, Ba'atzeret al Perot Ilan, regarding the fact that Shavuot is the new year, we're going to be blessed. Again, I mentioned the new year in regards to the different judgment times. It's a time of judgment. We'll be blessed over the fruit trees. And he says, Ukvar bi'alnu, we already explained, ki ha'perot, that the fruit, the fruit in reality is the souls that are blossoming from the tree of God. And the world is judged on this day because that was the day the Torah was given. Which means God judges Israel on this day when the Torah was given to see if we are studying Torah. And if God forbid the Torah is not being followed. Which means if people do not fulfill the proper way the commandments of Torah and the mitzvot, the commandments, and following the Torah, then we will be judged unfavorably. This message, which means it's fruit of the tree. Look at a tree, and I'm looking, as I'm giving this lesson, I'm looking at some fruit trees right next to me over here, and you see the beautiful blessing of fruit. But it works both ways. There's a physical fruit, there's also a spiritual fruit. And the spiritual fruit gives a blessing into our the physical world. And therefore, if we are following Torah, and we are learning Torah, and abiding by the Torah, and studying Torah, as much as we can, and teaching Torah, then we're going to bring a great blessing upon us. And this is what we want to happen on the holiday of Shavuot, when we spend the night studying Torah on that special day, commemorating the giving of the Torah, reliving the experience of giving Torah. So we want, of course, this blessing to follow us through the entire year, and that's really that's like a New Year period of Torah blessing, and that's why we're judged over our fruit, because the more we study, the more spiritual fruit we bear as well, not only the physical fruit. That's an important message that the Schlocko brings down. I want to connect this concept with another concept mentioned in this week's portion, which talks about, again, it opens with the blessings, and we want these blessings, of course. And what does the Torah say? The Torah says like this. It says, if you follow my statutes, Bichukotai, telechu, etc., it talks about the blessing that God will give us. And then if you look up again, this is in Leviticus 26. And then if you look up in verse number 20, again, Leviticus 26, verse number 6, God says, V'natati shalom ba'aretz, I will give peace in the land. Therefore, it explains that the trees will bear fruit, connected to what I just said before. You look in verse 5 and 4. It says in verse number 4, Ve'etz hasadeh hi'iten perio, right? The fruit trees will give their fruit. And then it goes on to say, in verse 6, which I'm reading now, it says, V'natati shalom ba'aretz, I will give peace in the land. U'shchaftem ve'im bachrim, you'll be able to lay down without being nervous, something will happen. V'shbati chaya ra'ava in aretz, and then it says, I will nullify the animals, the wild animals in the land. V'cherev lo tavor b'artzachem, and the sword will not pass over your land. So God again is promising to bring us the blessing of the land. Then it goes on to say, U'lidaftem et oivechem, you will chase your enemies. V'naflu lefnechem lacharav, they will fall before you with sword. And the question is, a few verses down it says, I'll bring peace in the land. If there's peace in the land, why will we have to chase our enemies? This question is brought down. There's no reason to chase your enemies if there's peace in the land. And the answer is given is that the peace in the land is there will be peace amongst the nation of Israel. When the people of Israel are at peace with one another, then we'll be able to unite ourselves and be successful in eliminating the enemy that is coming to destroy Israel. So So that's really the blessing of peace in the land, which we are praying for. Part of the process of redemption. I want to focus on this verse, which talks about God said He will eliminate the wild animals in the land. There are two. The reason I'm mentioning this is because yesterday we celebrated here in Israel and all over the world who celebrates the holidays Lag BaOmer, the 33rd day of the counting of the Omer as we're approaching the holiday of Shavuot. And we know on Lag BaOmer is a special day commemorating the giant of esoteric teachings of Torah, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. We know, again, the cave of Bar Yochai, it's all the way up there in Tzfat, up north in Israel. And he was the famous author of the Zohar Kadosh, who brought down tremendous teachings. And his light shines on that day, yesterday, more than any other day. That's why all over Israel, they're lighting bonfires. It's sort of hinting to that light of Bar Yochai, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And explaining the verse that God will eliminate the evil animals in Israel, I'd like to read that to you. He says like this. It's very interesting that there are two opinions of explaining that. What does he say? Rabbi Shimon says, this is brought down in the Midrash, if you want to know the Safra. Mashbitim shelo yizoku. He says, what does it mean when God will eliminate the evil animals? The word in Hebrew, la Shabbat, or la shbit, sounds the same word. It means to prevent. God prevent these animals from doing evil. Amar Rabbi Shimon, Ematai hu she. He says, when? Ematai hu shivcho shel makom. When is the praise of God? Bisman she'ein mizikim, when there are no wild animals at all, no dangerous creatures around. O bisman she'yesh mizikim, or when there are dangerous creatures around, but they ain't mizikim, but they don't do any damage. Emol bisman she'yesh mizikim. He goes, obviously, the answer is when there are still running around wild tigers and lions and snakes and scorpions, but they don't harm anybody. That's a great miracle, because that's a miracle. You have these wild predators that are running around. They have the power and the might to do damage, but they don't do damage anymore. They're sort of neutralized. And he says, that's what we say, a song to the day of Shabbat. Now, Shabbat means to rest, but it also can mean lashbit, to eliminate these evil forces. That really is going to happen at the end of days, that the evil will be neutralized. So according to the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, he's saying that these forces will be around, but they won't bother anybody anymore. What does that remind you all of? Yes, you got it. It reminds us, of course, in Isaiah. We look in chapter 11 in Isaiah, it talks about the prophecy of the end of days. What does Isaiah say? Vigal ze'ev im keves. A ze'ev is a wolf, right? A wolf will lie down, will live together with a sheep. V'namer im gedir bats, and a leopard together with a little goat, kid goat. Ve'egel ukfir mariach dav, the same thing. A little calf together with a lion. V'nar katon, it says, no hegba, and there'll be a little child leading them. Ufara v'dov terem yachdav, and a cow and a bear will live together. Unbelievable. V'shiasha yonek al chol pateh, and a little child will play by the hole, the opening of a poisonous python snake. Unbelievable. And why, after the prophet talks about this, it says in verse number 9 in chapter 11, it says, Lo yirev v'lo yashchitu b'chol ha'kodeshi. They will not do any damage and evil in my entire holy mountain. Ki mala aretz, because the entire land will be filled with de'ah, with knowledge of God, just like water covers over in the entire sea. This is what the prophet Isaiah talks about. This is the prophet of end of days, which means, according to the Rashbi, Bar Yochai, it's not that these dangerous animals won't be here anymore, but again they will be neutralized. They'll be around, but there'll be a new generation, a a generation where they won't harm anyone anymore. This is the opinion of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. This concept I want to take a little further and explain the situation here today in Israel and what we spoke about before. God bring peace to the land. In reality, we have to realize that the difficulty, the curse we spoke about in the beginning, that brings about exile and brings about all the difficult situations we go through, comes from a situation where we are not doing our thing as studying Torah and growing up spiritually, connecting really in true devotion to God. And when that happens, then we are releasing, these wild animals are released and can do damage and to harm others. And all kinds of wild animals. And unfortunately, the experience of terrorism today, innocent people murdered every day, not only in Israel, throughout the world, by, unfortunately, human beings that are behaving like animals, that's sanctified, unfortunately, death. This, the only way to rectify and to eliminate reality, is not only the strong war, which of course we must do, because God says we have true peace. It means we unite with one another, we can eliminate these evil forces. We also have to unite ourselves together with bearing fruit, not only physical but spiritual fruit. And that has to change in the world. The world, unfortunately, what interests people in the world today, and the masses are interested in the materialism, too much into materialism in the world. The world has moved away, unfortunately, from connecting itself to the spiritual side of the world, the Creator, the beautiful blessing of Torah, and what it has to offer, the morals that Torah has to offer to the world. Tremendous morals and the deep insights of the Torah that can rectify and really rectify the beast amongst us. And therefore, we have to work very hard and allow the light of Hashem to shine. And this, of course, the prophet is testifying. This will happen in the end of days. The sheep and the lion will be together. No problem. It's going to happen. And this is what Bar Yochai, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, was saying. It's not like they're going to disappear. They're going to be here, but they're going to be neutralized because of our beautiful light of Torah. We're going to be able to add to the world, and the world will rectify itself. But this again will happen when we truly take seriously our job and our function as Torah Torah students and Torah teachers, and abide by the word of Hashem to really truly want to find God in the world. It's not just the knowledge, it's getting up every day and doing and connecting ourselves. And every person has a special thing to rectify, and he can make a big difference to achieve this tremendous goal of, again, bearing fruit, special fruit in the world. And this is the fruit that we are heading towards as we head towards the holiday of Chag Shavuot. We're anxious and excited about receiving Torah. So those are the words of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Let us follow those words. Vishbati chayah ba'aretz, and God promises He will eliminate the evil amongst the evilness of those animals in the world, and we will enter a new era. And we have the power now, because the day is coming, and just 2 weeks away, where we will have a tremendous influence by especially preparing ourselves. For 50 days we're in preparation. We have 2 more weeks left. Let's prepare ourselves.